Tell me about a time in your life as you go through helping and serving people. Tell me about a time in your life when you needed help.
Oh man, well, I grew up I believe his name was Fred Joseph. I grew up in poverty. I grew up with no father. My mother was the only mother. We grew up on food stamps, welfare. When you are poor, that stuff is a blessing. We grew up on government cheese. I am not ashamed to tell my testimony. And so I grew up as a young lady, not being able to get my hair done. Went through even what he mentioned about getting bullied, because a lot of times when you have poverty, poverty gravitates to more pain. So when people know that you're impoverished, they have an upper hand to attack you and bully you. So I went through those things, and the Lord used people, real human beings that were touched, that came and brought us clothes. They brought us food. I remember times
Mm.
we didn't have food to eat, and God touched some neighbor. They, whether they were a Christian or not, they were people. They were our neighbor that cooked for us and made sure us kids ate. So there are many times that God has allowed people to help me and feed me through my young life, and also even coming up in life. But God has blessed me now to be a giver. It's better to give than receive. So I'm just happy to be on the giving end at this time.
Oh, I gotta clap because I love that. That was so. Thank you for that. That it's. I love the idea. I love the faith. I love the vision. But what I love more than anything else is the story. I love when people come on my show and they tell their story and they let people into their lives and to see that you're not here to just because you read something in a book or just because you heard a song or a sermon. You're here tonight because you have lived what it is you believe and because you have received the very help that you are now giving. I'm done with you. I am totally done with you. You have no. It's fantastic. So Freddie,
Yes.
I got maybe 5 minutes left, maybe 10 minutes left. Can't tell time. I want people to hear some of your story. I just asked Pastor Rachel to tell us some of her story. Even for those who've heard on my show before, I don't give a damn. Your story is amazing, and I want people to hear. Tell everybody how your life began.
So my life began. It was I was abandoned as a baby. I never met my biological mother. I never met my biological father. I was adopted by two loving parents that was going into their 70s. When you think about someone going in their 70s, they're thinking about grandkids and great grandkids, not adopting a newborn baby as their own. So I was adopted. I was given all the love I could ever want. And at the age of 8, my father bought me a computer from
Hold on a
Goodwill.
second. Hold on a second, Freddie. We gotta get the story right now. I gotta
Yeah,
cue
all right.
the story. You
It's
were
a long story.
you were abandoned and left where?
In a dumpster.
It's
Wow.
important. Keep
Wow.
going.
Yeah. So at the age of 8, I always wanted a computer, but again, we didn't grow up rich. My parents didn't have much, but they gave me all they could. And my father took me to a thrift store called Goodwill, and he bought me a non-working 1989 Macintosh. And I took that computer home, and he had televisions throughout the house. And I would go take parts from the television, from the radio, and I had a soldering gun, and I used to cut the capacitors from the radio and put inside the computer. And from maybe the 15th to 16th try, I was able to get that computer to working. And so that was my fascination and love with technology right then and there at the age of 8. So fast forwarding a little bit, when I was 12 years old, I had a full-time job at the city of Quincy. I was a computer technician. My duties and responsibilities were to repair computers from in the city government and also computers that came in.
Mm.
A little bit farther than that, at the age of 14, I was a network administrator. Things that we take for granted today, as picking up the phone, dialing an extension, calling halfway across the country, I built that at 14. So I was able to connect my city of Quincy to the fire
Hold
department,
on, Freddie. Hold on,
EMS,
Freddie. Hold on,
police.
Freddie. Hold on,
Yes.
Freddie. You just hold on. I just built 14. Like, that's what heroes do. And let me stop you because what I'm interested in is what you've already,
Yes.
and that is the notion of how your life began.
Right.
In abandonment, literally in the garbage.
Right.
Literally in the trash, and that you emerge up out of the garbage and the trash to have foresight and the insight to recognize that a global crisis is coming, and that your foundation, the Figures Foundation, did I get the name right?
Yes, sir.
The Figures Foundation can do this great work. That's the thing. That's what I want the audience to understand.
Right.
It comes from somewhere. Pastor Rachel comes from her journey and her work that she's been doing, her life, and then you from literally from a garbage can.